Hi, I've been missing for a little bit, and this is why. Hey guys, my name is Chris, otherwise known as CHIPxHAZARD. I'm a photographer and videographer here in Florida, and I mainly shoot weddings, and I have fallen in love with the Fuji system. I've used tons of cameras, Sony, Fuji, Canon, and my main workhorse is the Canon R3. I still love that camera. That's the best camera I've ever used, hands down. Just so you know, I'm not a biased person. This is completely independent. Like, I've bought every camera that I've had, my own money, obviously, because this YouTube channel is not that big, but hopefully we can grow it from there. So, why would you pick up this camera? We're going to go over some points, mainly for weddings, but this has tons of use cases. It's a workhorse. Let's go over why you would pick this up. Point number one, we'll get this one out of the way really quick, and that's autofocus. The XT4 actually does a really dang good job at autofocus. It tracks very well, and a lot of people still use this. I would still recommend this camera for weddings. I will say the autofocus in the XH2s, gosh, that name just does not roll off the tongue any easier. It's phenomenal. It is a little bit stickier. You can control it a little bit more, in my opinion. And from what I've done, I've shot a few weddings with it already and some engagement sessions. It's a little bit stickier than the XT4 is. And that'll just improve over time because Fuji rolls out a crap ton of firmware updates. So they're very much on top of it and they do respond well to feedback. So good job, Fuji. Point number two, I feel like is a pretty obvious one for me because I shoot in Florida and it gets freaking hot. So obviously overheating down here is an issue. And one way we solve that is like why I bought the R3. It just doesn't overheat, period. I've shot in 6K raw out in the heat just to see if it would overheat, and it doesn't. So that's why I bought that camera. It's a workhorse. The XT4, on the other hand, it struggles. It will probably make it 45 minutes before it overheats. It just gets too hot, and even in the shade, it's still hot. It's not like dry climates like Arizona and stuff like that, or Texas. It is humid as frick here. So even if you put your camera in the shade, it will still overheat very easily. So that's where this XH2s beats out the XT4 is it just doesn't overheat. I've shot it in ProRes HQ and I filled up 2 512 cards just to see how it would do. And it never overheated. I never even got the warning sign. So it's a little beast. So it's good for that. Long ceremonies, Catholic ceremonies, ugh, you're good. So now that I've talked about it a little bit, let's swap these out and we'll shoot in 6K so you can see what that looks like. All right, now we're on the XH2s. This is F-Log 2. As you can tell, it is very flat. You get a crap ton of dynamic range. And I will say that's another perk. For point number 3, you got more dynamic range. Like this is pretty flat. And I haven't even downloaded the conversion LUT yet, so I don't even know what that'll look like. All right, Future Chris here. So this is the conversion LUT. Well, let me take it off real quick. There we go. And so I just downloaded them. So let's see. These are them. They give you 4 of them. There's Eterna. There's Eterna Bleach Bypass. That's kind of cool. But then there's a normal F-Log 2 gamut to F-Log 2. So that way you could just grade it by yourself. And there's a wide dynamic range as well. Let me import all of the. There's Bleach Bypass. That's Not my favorite. Probably won't use that. And then here's, whoops, nope. Then we're getting there. Now here is the Eterna one. This is pretty nice, honestly. Looks just like normal Eterna, but with more dynamic range. That's off. And then if you want to grade it yourself, you can do this. This is what I normally do. I feel like I have a little more control. You can span it out just like this. I bring my midtones down, lower. But yeah, I mean, ta-da, you can do it yourself. You don't always need a conversion lot, FYI. So there you go. I mean, you're welcome. Back to the video. But you do get this nice 3:2 aspect ratio, so I can crop in here or just cut it here. Great for social media, for YouTube. I can use the same clip for either one, and I have enough room. Right now, I'm probably just a floating head. So it's just very versatile for that. You can't do that on the XT4. It does not have full sensor readout. So that's really nice for this. You get the open gate, so anamorphic becomes an option. You can use anamorphic on that, but your stretch is going to be a little different. And I don't know. I feel like with the full sensor, you could really take advantage of everything that this camera has to offer. And my last one is low light. The XT4 kind of struggles. It does decent. It is definitely not like its strong suit in any way, shape, or form. But this camera, like, here's a wedding. I will show you this clip. And this was like very last minute. It is shot on the 35 1.4 with a black Pro Mist at 1/4. So if it looks a little soft, it's because of the Pro Mist. I'm wide open. I think I'm at 10,000 ISO. So it's freaking dark. So just how well this cleans up is like super nice, and that just shows me how useful it is. Now, here's a clip of the awful sparkler exit. Everyone was pretty much trashed at this point at this wedding. But anyways, like, this is at the same settings. Actually, I think I went up one to 12,500, or is it 12,800? It's one of those. It's really up there. Normally, I would never use it. I don't think I'll ever use this shot, but the fact that I was able to get something out of it tells me a lot about this camera. So even with like very minimal amount of light, it can still work really well. So bravo, Fuji. Okay, so my last point, just so we can kind of clear the air on some things. Codecs are nice, but they are not everything. The XT4 has a great all-eye, like 4K with a high bit rate. Like, that image looks great. People still buy this camera for the image. It's a great image. Eterna looks great straight out of camera. You can tweak it a little, even throw a LUT on top of that and get your own look from it. It's very easy. With this camera, like, you can shoot in ProRes, and ProRes is nice. I like ProRes because I'm already shooting and editing. I'm already editing in Final Cut Pro, which ProRes plays nice with. So for me, that was a big advantage for me. And it's not trying to fight with H.265 all the time. Like, my Mac just does not like those files for some reason. So when they have ProRes in here, like, game changer for me, and it just edits so easily. So that's my 2 cents so far, guys. I've overlaid quite a few images so you guys can see what they look like straight out of camera, with some of the simulations applied and then some raw. I love this camera. It's great. It's a great workhorse. I'll probably do some more videos about this camera later, but thanks for chilling with me. Like and subscribe if you like stuff like this. Have a good day.